I'm not sure the #1 pick in the draft, Victor Wembanyama, is even human. For the longest time, he's felt like this mysterious being. For years, we were hearing about this 7'1" French kid who was the best prospect on the planet, but it was hard to buy in. Sure, it sounds crazy, and we would see some of these clips that showed a lot of promising skill, but it was rare to see him being talked about outside of the world of future NBA prospects. But then things started to change. The most defining early moment in regards to public perception was his performances on the international stage. Between his dominant runs in the U16 and U19 FIBA World Cups, playing against the best prospects on the planet, the veil of mystery was starting to dissolve. However, it was still hard to gauge a lot of his production and overall ability playing in these types of settings. But everything changed in one night, a night that if Wembanyama has the career we all expect, will be looked back on for generations. It was the night that everyone met Victor Wembanyama, basketball fan or not. It was our first chance to see him play in a familiar setting. Now, nothing changed. This was the player Wembanyama has always been, but most of the time it takes a familiar setting for NBA fanbases to really buy in.
This got to be the biggest game I'm going to play in my life.
Wembanyama's French team was set to play the G League Ignite in a showcase in Las Vegas. The Ignite is a team that has produced several top picks over the last few years, Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga. At this time, it featured the projected second overall pick Scoot Henderson. The excitement was growing, the expectations were high, but I don't even think the biggest Bulls expected what we saw. Just over a minute into the game, Victor Wembanyama gets a ridiculous help side block. No surprise there, the man is literally a giant. The very next possession, the true freak of nature is taking the ball up the court. As he's walking up, minds are starting to race. We just don't see this every day. What is he about to do? Well, this. He takes his player off the dribble and hits this ridiculous contested layup. Eyes are opening. That was crazy, but maybe just a little lucky. On the very next possession, a pick and roll play unfolds. The second best prospect in the class goes for a pull-up mid-range, and Wembanyama effortlessly blocks it. This really embodied the sentiment shift we were about to see. We all knew Scoot. We all were familiar with his game. We all knew how promising his career was projected to be. Things couldn't get crazier from this point on, right? Boy, were we wrong. Just a couple minutes later, Wembanyama gets the ball in the wing and splashes this three off the dribble. Not only that, but he's getting significant airtime on this shot. At the apex of his jumper, his head would be hitting the rim. This shot is completely unguardable. So now closing out the first half, everyone's in awe, but the second half would just get out of hand. Pick and pop corner three, Scoot's contest is pointless. Wait a second, look at that again. Look how high he is in the air. Look at the basket. The perspective is playing a role here, but the ball is leaving his hands something like 11 feet in the air.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Contested transition three, absolute money. Off the dribble, contested midi. Pick and pop, money. Scoot Henderson, sit down.
Rejected at the rim.
It's here. Well, I was wondering when Scoot was going to try Victor, and he does on this possession, but that is advantage Victor coming up with the block shot. Scoot has been great at
step up. Well, I'm not sure that would even matter there. Scoot, get that out of here. Corner three to bring the game within a possession. Wembanyama closes the game with 37 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks. He shot an incredible 7 for 11 from three-point range. The news started to spread like wildfire, causing Twitter to explode. Suddenly, the flaws and injury concerns were irrelevant. The upside we were dealing with was unprecedented. His time in Vegas wasn't even over. He had another game the very next day, and he proved that his performance from the previous night was no fluke. He scored 36 points and grabbed 11 rebounds. But there was something that went overlooked in that game. At this point, many casual observers might think,
oh wow, very tall, he can dribble and shoot threes, that's cool.
But the most impressive play out of that entire Vegas trip wasn't a block shot, a step back three, or a crossover. It was a simple, fast break dunk. Why is that? Well, let's put it into perspective. Wembanyama stands at 7'4", some even say 7'5", but let's go with his own words for now.
How tall are you?
So, like in France, we measure bare feet, and I'm 7'3" bare feet.
Okay, so when you put shoes on the court.
Yeah, I'm actually never measuring myself with shoes on, but it's gotta be like 7'4" or 5, I guess.
Okay.
Sometimes we throw around numbers without taking a second to fully grasp just how insane they are. This is his everyday point of view. Let's take a look at some players that we've seen around this height. Taco Fall at 7'6", moves with this speed. Boban Marjanovic, currently the tallest player in the league, moves like this. You compare that to the speed Wembanyama is able to reach on this clip, 8 steps from one end to the other for the dunk. The picture starts to be painted just how ridiculous this truly is. The closest comparison in terms of size and speed is Kristaps Porzingis, but even that doesn't come close, especially laterally. End-to-end speed is one thing, but in basketball, especially in the front court, lateral speed matters even more. The speed at which a player can move side to side. With Wembanyama, you have to keep reminding yourself what he's actually doing because it just looks so effortless. In today's league, teams constantly attack mismatches, trying to get big switched onto perimeter players. Even some of the best defenders in the league, like Rudy Gobert, can get exposed in these scenarios. But Wembanyama is so quick that the player doesn't even see an advantage in backing the ball up. He tries to blow by Wembanyama and fails miserably. But that's just the beginning. After the block, Wembanyama stands at the baseline. What do you think happens next? He runs to the complete other end of the court and throws down an alley-oop. Ridiculous. And then to open the half, he hits this fadeaway corner 3. In the fourth quarter, he does this.
In 2024, as Victor Wembanyama drills a deep 3. That's what he can do.
It's just getting unfair. That is 30 feet out. Get dunked on. That guy right there is projected to go in the first round of the upcoming draft. Wembanyama finishes with 36 points. In just 2 days, he showcased a skill set the game had never seen before. This play right here sums that up perfectly. Not only is he on the perimeter creating space with his handle, not only is he taking a step back 3 at 7'4", but he misses the 3, grabs his own rebound, and executes a put back dunk. It's another play that visually doesn't look as crazy because of his size, but you just have to remember what he's really doing here. His size and strides make the court just look tiny. It's absolutely absurd. Now the narrative you're going to see pushed is that despite the highlights and what we saw in Las Vegas, is that Wembanyama isn't that great of a shooter.
Highlights make it look like he's a Kevin Durant level shooter. He's more like Giannis.
What?
The misconception stems from his stats in France, shooting only 28% from 3. But guess who else shot 28% from 3 in their last season in Europe before going to the NBA? Luka Doncic. Would you say that Luka Doncic is a Giannis level shooter? The same goes for Jokic, Kristaps, Bojan Bogdanovic. Even one of the best three-point shooters in league history, Peja Stojakovic, shot just 18%. The point is, three-point percentage from young guys in Europe isn't a reliable indicator of their true shooting ability. The European game differs from the NBA in many ways, and translating stats one-to-one just doesn't work. In fact, the closest thing we've seen to an NBA game from Victor Wembanyama is what he played in Vegas. And look what happened.
Wembanyama for 3. Come on, wee.
One of the best predictors time and time again is free throw percentage. Typically, when someone's a poor free throw shooter, they have a long ways to go to become a solid shooter anywhere else on the court. In fact, some make the case that at the college level, free throw percentage can actually be a better indicator for three-point success in the NBA, especially in combination with players who are already willing three-point shooters. This correlation bodes extremely well for Wembanyama. This season, on pretty high volume, he shot 83% from the free throw line. That's fantastic. That's the same as guys like Nikola Jokic and Jalen Brunson. Will Wembanyama ever be a Kevin Durant level shooter? Unlikely. Impossible? No. As crazy as Wembanyama's 7'4" listed height is, he's actually even bigger than you think. A massive, massive factor when it comes to NBA size is wingspan. There's two types of heights in basketball. You got your listed height, the one on your driver's license. And then there's your effective height, which is an inexact science, but the main factor being your wingspan. Both attacking the rim and especially on defense, it plays a massive role. There are a few stars in the league outside of the point guard position not bringing an elite wingspan to the table, especially those recognized for their defensive abilities. Victor Wembanyama isn't just bringing a crazy wingspan. He is bringing the biggest in the entire league. His wingspan is 8 feet wide. Absurd. For some context here, Rudy Gobert's is 7'8", Kristaps is 7'6", and possibly the best speed to length ratio in the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, has a wingspan of only 7'3". Now, something we typically see with these crazy frames is that you have to sacrifice shooting ability. That is clearly not a problem for Victor Wembanyama. The three-point shooting is what's going to get a lot of the attention. The dribbling will get a lot of the highlights. I mean, as it should. Check this clip out.
Look at this dribbling ability at 7. Come on, man. 7'5".
The coordination he possesses is incredible, regardless of his size. How many players in the league could do this? While these skills are impressive, while they're exciting, it is not what has many going as far to label him the best prospect of all time. It's that combination of speed and length that is truly the scariest thing he brings to the table and ultimately what the league has never seen before. We all know at that size, shot blocking is a given, but with this combination, he is able to hold his own in almost any circumstance. Take this possession, for example. He gets matched up with a guard on the perimeter. He gets beat, but it just doesn't matter. He's also able to play as the roamer from the wing. Look where Wembanyama is right here. This player has an open lane to the basket, but Wembanyama is able to send back a dunk attempt. His recovery is also ridiculous. Even when he gambles or misses times, his hand speed allows him to still defend the shot before getting the goaltend. He gets caught on a screen here. Easy layup, right? Think again. He's able to play drop as if he didn't. When you think you have space, you really don't. His ability to close out just hurts your brain. For this clip right here, it just looks like, oh, this guy didn't have enough space to shoot. But that is only because it just so happens he has to play against this freak of nature. Go back. Look at that space. If that's 99% of the league's bigs, that is a wide open opportunity. But Wembanyama just casually walks over, shrinking the space. Now again, the NBA court and NBA three-point line are a little bit bigger, but you just don't see stuff like this. Oh, and that guy tries to bring the ball out, take Wembanyama off the dribble, and yeah, it didn't go well. Again, you see him here guarding on the wing for an entire possession. He's able to bring weak side help, which they try to seize on, sending it back to his man for an open shot. An open shot if you replace Wembanyama with anyone else. Here he guards the switch, switches back on the pass, gets taken off the dribble, and sends it back. Moral of the story, Wembanyama is able to guard half the court at one time. By no means is his contest always perfect. These are highlights. That should be pretty clear. But this is also just a prospect. We're not just talking about the player we see today. We're talking about the player we could potentially see. Something that's truly hard to comprehend when it comes to Wemby. But speaking of what he could be, something has changed for him that went completely under the radar. And that's that he's filled out his frame. This is him 2 years ago at the FIBA World Cup. This is Chet Holmgren in that same tournament. This is Chet today, and this is Wembanyama today. The kid has clearly packed on some serious muscle, an incredible sign, as this is something that typically takes a while for these types of frames, sometimes never does. A lot are under the impression we're still dealing with a complete twig. That's not the case. His ability to defend without getting displaced has been really impressive over the last 12 months. Now, not impeccable, but remember, this isn't the overtime elite league, this is professional basketball. Most of these people are grown men. Sure, he's gonna struggle against the powerhouses of the league, Jokic, Embiid, but newsflash, everyone does. What matters here is that the trend is more than going in the right direction. We opened with the game that really opened the eyes of the world to Wembanyama, especially fans in the States. Well, that was 8 months ago. If you weren't aware, Wembanyama is in the playoffs in France right now, and he is dominating. As of this recording, they are headed to the finals of the French League. All season, there's been this narrative that Wembanyama's numbers don't tell the full story, as he's been able to just do whatever he wants since switching to the Metropolitans this season. And while that may be the case, it's clearly working. In the game to go to the finals, 3 minutes left, 1-point game, he buries this fadeaway as the shot clock expires. Contested lay-in to make it a 1-point lead, a block on the other end, his 5th block of the night. This legendary clip also came out of this
This
playoff
older
run.
dude trying to prove a point on Wemby, and look, he trying to get a dunk. But y'all, please watch this, bro. Watch this. Look what Wemby come back down here and do. First off, he ain't even, look at this. He ain't even playing a, bro. Haim, hold up. You can't, look at him. You can't guard me. Hold up. Haim. Oh my, Haim. Bro, come on, bro. He gonna bro. He repositioning. Hold up. And one. Bam. Oh my God. Bro, Wemby is OD.
I think that's it for now. The more and more I see, the more I just struggle to comprehend, the more I come closer to the conclusion that this man is just not human.